The verdict is in with Grayson Mancy murder trial. Grayson is the police officer who shot her, and Macy is the victim. And I have here the footage of the incident. The verdict came out, guys. He was found guilty of second-degree murder. And as we watch this video, you're going to ask yourself, how the hell did this happen? How could the jury come back with this verdict? Now, the family's very upset, as rightly so. They're claiming some racism, that he has white privilege. I think I heard in a statement, the family gave a press conference outside the courthouse with their attorney. One of the family members said it was I think she said something to the effect there was just like one black woman, there was some white women. I didn't hear a mention of men, but anyway. The trial went on for 7 days, which was a pretty quick trial. And they deliberated for a good 12 hours. And I think there was some dispute on, so I don't know who was holding out, and then it was just a verdict that they just compromised on. I don't know. Would be yet to see if we get some interviews from the jurors, like what was going on in the jury room. What were they debating over 12 hours? They have video evidence. It seems cut and dry to me, but you never know what goes on in the heads of juries. And to be white privilege, I don't know. I didn't watch the whole trial. But I do have a, what is this? A Fox affiliated in Illinois news report from their local news. And they're going to give us a little bit of the trial and some statements that were made by his partner. Took the stand, Grayson's partner. He felt like that there was no immediate, she didn't appear to be, he didn't feel threatened by her, right? Kind of thing, which was just crazy. So I'm going to play this video. So caution, if you don't want to see this video, then please either fast forward the video or just don't watch anymore at this point. But again, the family's upset. I think the maximum there, this is in Illinois, y'all. Every state has different laws on second-degree murder on how much time they're going to serve. That it's like 20 years is the max. So they're hoping, I guess they're hoping at this point that during sentencing phase that he will serve the max. But this is insane, and they're wanting to change the laws because there's such a vast difference between second degree and first degree as far as time served. And that they want to add, maybe they want to add a new to the list. So right now, Illinois has first degree and second degree. They want something like an aggravated murder, which would be second, which would be more time than a second degree, right? So this is what they're looking to change these laws. Let's take a look at this. Did I change that? Okay, I had slowed down the speed. Let's get it back to normal. And then we'll slow it down right when he's gonna do the thing, right? Do the thing.
Struggling to answer questions.
What is your last name? Shouldn't have to think about your last name.
Then, when deputies say she can remove a pot of boiling water from the stove, the situation changes in an instant.
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from the hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
I
rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
better not. I swear to God, I'll shoot you right in your face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
She says, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And he says, you better not. I'll just shoot you in the face. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to back it up to right here. This is where he says, you better not, I swear to God, I'll shoot you in the face. So we're going to slow it down. We'll slow it down to that. Now, look at this in between them. Okay? This is cabinet, shelf, whatever. He's way over here. She's way over here, and she's holding a pot of water. Right? So how in the hell does he think this little frail woman is going to throw water all the way over there? Really? And then he could back up? And again, I don't even know why they even had to enter her home. Let me back up just for a second. So she calls the police because she thinks she hears a prowler outside, right? So they show up. Why didn't they walk around the house? Maybe they did. I don't know. But once they walked around the house and they didn't see that nobody's broken into her home, she's in there by herself, why did they need to come into her home? I'm just asking questions here. What was the reason? There should have been no reason. They go to her door. They should have said, hey, we're here because you called. We checked. Everything seems to be fine. Hey, just let us know. If you hear anything else, we'll come back. And that would have been the end of it. But no, this happens. Now, we're going to slow it down to pay attention.
Face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, right there. So he's saying drop. She's like, I'm sorry. But she gets down to like a prone crouching position. And he's already drawn his weapon. And the other police officer has his weapon out too. What the hell is going on here? He should have said, "Guy, what are you doing? She's down. Why are we drawing our guns?" So she's down. So what? Does he think she has a gun under the sink? He could probably, as tall as he is, plus he walks over to this area right here, over to this right side of opening to lead into the kitchen. He can see her clearly on the ground. Why shoot? Why shoot? She's already on the ground. Why are you shooting her? Unbelievable.
Shots fired!
Grayson, who did not turn on his body cam until after shooting Massey, explaining the situation to responding officers who ask, "Where's the gun?"
House is cleared. She was the only one.
Where's the gun?
No, she had boiling water and came at me with boiling water.
You shot her?
Yeah.
You came at me with boiling water. She was nowhere near him. In fact, my viewpoint is he pursued her. She's like, I'm sorry. And then she gets down on the ground. She's scared. She's not all there. She's special. He should have known that when she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Oh, no, he just retorted, you better not, because I'll shoot you in the face if you rebuke me in the name of Jesus. Who the hell do you think you are? He should have said, let's take a moment and pray to Jesus. Everything's going to be all right. We're going to make sure you're okay. Now, I think it just boils down to common sense, people. You know if you're talking to somebody, the moment they start talking, you know if they're special or not, or if they just blurt out something like that out in left field. Right? I mean, all he did, I think he asked her to move the water. I don't know what the deal was with the water and why she was moving it or whatever. It looked like the stove had already been on. And as soon as she said that, he should have known, okay, she's a little special in his head, and then dealt with it calmly from there. So apparently this guy shouldn't even have been on the force in the first place. From reports I've heard that he was in other precincts and other areas and he was let go. And then here he shows up in Illinois. Wasn't that special? A lot of things are happening in Illinois, isn't it? A lot of things are happening.
She said she was going to rebuke me in the name of Jesus and came out with boiling water.
Grayson charged with murder.
She said she's going to come at me with boiling water and rebuked me in the name of Jesus. It's bullshit. It is bullshit. It's just, I can see why the family is just extremely upset. It just doesn't make any sense what he did. Maybe he was just a walking disaster anyway, and then obviously because he had been removed from all these other positions of being a police officer in other places, and then now Illinois let him be a police officer there, knowing that he is a danger. Some people shouldn't be a police officer. It takes a special person. It's almost like it takes a super special people to work at rehabilitation places, especially for old folks' homes and things like that. It takes special people. Special people to deal with hospice. I had to deal with people with hospice with my mother. I went and stayed with my mother for, I don't know if it was 8-9 months before she passed away, but she was doing really well. She had cancer, and she was on hospice, even though she was at home, and she lived another 8-9 months, whatever it was, and they would come and talk with me and things like that, and it was nice. It was nice to have that kind of support in these areas, and it takes special people to do that because they have an understanding, right? They have an understanding of the situation. Police officers have a special job too, and it's going to take special people to deal with certain special situations. There ain't no way in hell he was in fear of his life. Now, did he have a toxicology? Was he on something? Like, what's wrong with him?
The verdict is in. Former Sangamon County Deputy Sean Grayson is guilty of second-degree murder. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Eliza Petrie. The jury deliberated for over 12 hours since yesterday, finally reaching a verdict this afternoon. And following the verdict announcement, Sonia Massey's family expressed their desire to see laws changed after what they feel is a less desired outcome. Fox Illinois' Spencer Davis joins us now with more from what the family wants to see done after the trial. Spencer?
The justice system served its purpose Wednesday, with the jury arriving at a unanimous verdict. However, the Massey family feels the jury was limited in its options.
We have a legislature here in Illinois who is ripe for the kind of change that should go across the whole United States.
Wednesday did not bring the exact outcome.
I'm not sure what that legislation is. Now, I think it's for adding aggravated murder. And I think they did get it passed in Illinois, but he wants it to go across the United States, which I agree wholeheartedly with that. Because there's so much of a discrepancy in between first-degree murder and second-degree murder, which a lot of juries don't know. So they're back there, and then if they ask a question, if they sent something back to the judge can say, well, hey, if we give him second degree, how much does he get? The judge can't tell him that. It's crazy. I don't know why he can't. They can't even tell him even if they get life, they could still get out in 50 years. Life, why do we consider that life? Shouldn't life be life? Like, you stay there until you die. But no, how many time and time again have we seen over the years that these people who got life, 40 years later, you let them out? They just let them out.
The family and friends of Sonia Massey were hoping for. And following the second-degree murder conviction, they made those feelings heard.
Second-degree murder? That is not right. That is not justice for anybody's family, regardless of who you are and where you come from. So we're going to work extremely hard, not only in Sangamon County, not only in the state of Illinois, but throughout this country to change the laws.
They need to change the law because it is insane. And they're rightly so upset. They are rightly so upset.
Massey's father, James Wilburn, wants to see more clarification between first and second degree murder.
There needs to be some further description between first and second degree murder. Obviously, it was first degree murder, but we only came out with a second degree verdict today.
Supporters say the difference.
I experienced this in my own family. My nephew was murdered by a 23-year-old. He was either 22 or 23-year-old other man who killed him. There were eyewitnesses. We went to the trial. It lasted a week. And the prosecution, the attorneys took us back into this room, this conference room, because I sat through the whole trial. I went to North Carolina. This happened in North Carolina. So it was back in 2006 this happened. So we go back there, and of course my sister's a basket case. It was her son, my oldest sister, and it was it's something, it's beyond words watching what it did to her, that her son was killed like that. And anyway, he explains to us. He says, look, we feel like we've got a really strong case. And they did. They had a strong case. They had eyewitnesses. It was a strong case. You had witnesses from the coroner showing how he was in, what position my nephew was in when the guy shot him, because it contradicted what the guy who killed my nephew said. It was just contradiction after contradiction from, like I said, from the coroner's report, from the eyewitnesses. It looked like a slam dunk to me, right? Right. And maybe I was a little biased, but look, I mean, I'm listening to the trial. I'm listening. I'm waiting to hear something that says my nephew was at fault here, right? And I never heard that, right? I'm paying attention. I'm like, what's going on? I want to know what's going on. If it's the truth, sometimes the truth hurts, but the truth is the truth, right? This is how my brain thinks. So he proceeds to tell us, yeah, we've got a really strong case, but we never know what a jury's going to do. You just don't know. So he warned us. And then my sister is just completely upset, gets up and she's shaking and she's crying. She's like, you mean to tell me he could walk or get less? And the guy's trying to be calm with her, and and he's like, well, we just don't know you can't predict what a jury's going to do. I understood what he was saying. Long story short, they give the guy second degree murder, just like in this case. Because they pulled the jury. Pull, I mean by they questioned them. I guess the attorneys get to do that, right? Like, again, I'm not an expert, but I believe they got to talk to them. One juror held out. So it was a compromised verdict. That's what happened in my nephew's case. Because one juror felt sorry for the guy because he's 23 years old and he has the rest of his fucking life. But my nephew's dead. One juror, one liberal ass Karen, held out. So the rest of the jury compromised. I wish they wouldn't have. I wish it just would have been a hung jury. And then we go trial that little son of a bitch again. Well, there was a problem with the jury. I said, oh shit. My sister's like, what's going on? We start talking about it. There was one part of testimony that my sister got up and left the room, is obviously when the coroner came out. And I said, I don't think you want to be in here for this, right? So I stayed. I stayed because I needed to see everything for her. But we come in one morning and there was a problem with one of the jury. The judge is asking the juror. Apparently, one of the jurors knew somebody from the prosecution side in the attorney's office or whatever, or when they came in and they spoke to somebody. So the judge was saying, well, did y'all discuss the trial? He said, no. You didn't talk about anything? He said, no. Just because he was seen there speaking to somebody, it could be a problem, conflict of interest. But the guy's saying, no, we didn't talk about anything. But I didn't think it was a big deal, problem, whatever. But the judge says, okay, it's fine, and did not remove him from the jury. And I said to my sister, I was like, I don't know. This might be a problem later if they find him guilty of first degree or even second degree, whatever they find him guilty of, he could use this for an appeal, to get an appeal. So the judge said it's fine. They investigated. It's okay. He did no wrongdoing. We're going to continue with the trial. And, of course, as I told you, it came back second degree murder, which I think he was only going to get 15 years, and then with good behavior, he could get out in like 5 to 7 years. He ends up only serving maybe 5, if that, and then the little fucker got out. I mean, he was even seen near a school. He wasn't supposed to be near certain places or something. He had drugs or whatever, piece of shit, right? Nope. It's okay. That was all okay. I understand this family's frustration. Again, you don't know what the jury is thinking. Maybe this happened in their case. I don't know. They're claiming there's some white privilege thing going on. I have no idea if that was the case. But maybe one of the jurors was feeling sorry for Grayson. It's a possibility. Because he's young. And this is the problem with liberals. They're probably some liberal Karen. Who knows? We should just give him second degree. He's probably going to get a lot of time for that. But see, they don't even know that. They don't even know how much time. The judge, nobody gives them, they give them jury instructions, but they don't tell them what each thing carries. The life now in America is not life. And it should be. I agree. They should change a lot about the law. And they need to add aggravated murder. So they get more time. They get more time. But even then, some juries just, who knows what the hell they were thinking? Who knows?
In a possible prison sentence between a first degree and a second degree murder conviction is too large.
People need to understand that there's a major difference between second degree murder and first degree murder. I'm talking 40, 50 years difference in sentence. Yes. Do y'all know that this man, even though it may be 20 years, he could get out in 10 years?
Yeah.
Antonio Romanucci, who represented the family in their civil case, wants more done too.
The Senate Bill 1953, which Governor Pritzker signed into law in August of this year, that is on the books. Now we know that that's not enough because there is such a big gap between the sentencing, between the second degree and the first degree murder charge.
The maximum penalty for second-degree murder is 20 years. The minimum penalty for first-degree murder with a firearm is 45 years, with a maximum of life. Reporting for Fox, Illinois, I'm Spencer Davis.
Thank you, Spencer. Currently, murder sentencing minimums and maximums vary by state in the United States. And we continue our team coverage tonight. Fox Illinois' Carly Siegel gives us a recap of the week-long trial finally ending today with a verdict.
Trial started last week on Monday with jury selection. Opening statements started Wednesday with emotional testimony and focus on the body camera footage that led up to Massey's death. Also on Wednesday, 4 of the state's witnesses testified, including Grayson's partner, Deputy Dawson Farley. Farley testified he didn't see Massey as a threat. On Thursday, 6 witnesses took the stand, including the forensic pathologist who performed Massey's autopsy, who said she could have survived the shooting if someone would have helped stop her bleeding.
Oh, my God. Neither one of them ran to her fucking aid? and started wrapping something around her head to stop the bleeding? They just stood there and fucking looked at her? Hell, his partner should be on trial too. You didn't render aid to a victim of a shooting? I didn't see the family members raising hell about that. Jesus, I'm bringing that up. What are you doing? She's on the fucking ground. Wrap something around her head. What, you just assume she's dead because you shot her in the fucking head?
On Friday, only one testified, an expert in police law and policy, Seth Stoughton. He analyzed the body cam footage frame by frame and said it was tactically unsound. The defense questioned Stoughton, and he testified that Massey showed signs of mental health issues but did not pose an immediate threat to Farley or Grayson. On Monday, the defense started their case. Their first witness was Sean Grayson. He was on the stand for an hour. He said he felt threatened by Massey and only discharged his weapon when he saw Massey grab the pot, raise it above her head, and throw the pot at him.
That's a fucking lie. We saw the video. She did have the pot. And he said, put it down, and she goes, I'm sorry, and went down. We didn't see her above the cabinet. She went down. He moved around to the camera, around from the cabinet, and then pointed the gun down at her. He shot her. She was on the ground in like a crouching position. Where's the forensic coroner? What angle did the bullet come into her head? He said she was standing up going to throw it at him. It can't be appealed. They can't retry him. This is it. Damn, I'm not even an attorney and I'm bringing up this shit. Hell, she was crouching. He shoots in a downward motion. How the hell could she lift the pot over her head and throw it at him when she's on the ground? Oh, and even if she was on the ground with the pot like this, how the hell does she have the strength? What is he, a moron? I'm angry for the parents because this is bullshit. Well, I guess we have to blame the jury, right? Just in my nephew's case, the prosecution did a fabulous job, just like this family member said they did a fabulous job. But you had one juror hold out because they felt sorry for him. Now, I don't know what the jury, they deliberating for 12 hours. What the hell were they talking about? What could they be discussing? Were they literally going over the testimony of Grayson? Well, he said she had the pot over her head. She's gonna throw it at him. And clearly in the video, no, that's not what's happening here. He literally came around towards her and pointed the gun downward in a downward motion. He could have said, put the pot down, stand up, put your hands up in the air. And he still stay on the opposite side of the counter. Logically.
The defense called 3 more witnesses, retired law enforcement officer Kevin R. Davis, Jason Eccleston, and Sergeant Glenn Corbett. Tuesday, we saw both sides present their closing arguments before the jury began deliberations just before noon. Today, the jury found Sean Grayson guilty of second-degree murder. Reporting in studio, I'm Carly Siegel.
Thank you, Carly. And again, Grayson now will face up to 20 years in prison or probation, and sentencing is scheduled for January 29th. And for all of your coverage of the death of...
It's unbelievable. It's just... Well, this family has done some good things here. They've got some legislation in. They'd like to see it go nationwide to add aggravated murder to the list of jury instructions. Let me know what you guys think. This is just a tragedy all the way around. I guess I don't know if anybody could tell me. I didn't Google it. I just came up with it just now and pop it in my head. I mean, do cops have to take some kind of psychological test to see if they're freaking loony? I mean, I know they have these tests that these psychiatrists could give, and then they can analyze it and know if you're being deceptive and stuff. Yeah, they're like really smart like that. Psychological tests to see, in different situations, and then they kind of repeat the questions and change them, I guess, to try to trick people up as they're going through, whether how many questions it is. I mean, do cops have to do that? And if not, should they? Should they have to take some kind of psychological test? Because they are in life and death situations sometimes. I get it. It's dangerous to be a police officer. They could be just doing a routine stop on the street, go walk up to the car to ask for their driver's license, and the guy will shoot them. They have a dangerous job. We need police officers. In this case, this police officer, I believe they sued. They also sued the city because he shouldn't have been hired, and they got a bunch of money. But if y'all want to go Google the whole press conference, they had also said we'd give back all the money. All the money that they gave us, we'd give it back just to have Sonya back. They'd give it all back. So it's pretty sad. It's pretty tragic all the way around. Well, let me know what you think about this case. Should he have gotten life? Or do you think it's okay he got second degree? What do you think the jury was contemplating over 12 hours? What could they be mulling over for 12 hours with video footage that you and I just watched? And then his testimony, Grayson's testimony, saying, I was in fear for my life. She had a pot of hot water over her head, and she rebuked me in the name of Jesus. That's his defense. That's what he said on the stand. That coupled with video evidence, it's like, I would be like, okay, play the video and let's read his statement. It doesn't match up. It doesn't match up. And another thing, what do you think about his partner being charged with something because he didn't render aid to her on the ground? And they said that she could have survived if they would have rendered aid to her. Damn. I didn't hear him bring that up in the press conference. I had watched the whole press conference the other day. It was either yesterday or the day before. I get my days mixed up. I cover a lot of stuff, and then I just watch stuff on my own, right? And then I thought, oh, I need to cover this because this is just freaking nuts. This is nuts. And thank God there was no rioting. Right? They didn't go burn down Springfield, which is a good thing because even the family said the prosecution did a good job. It was in the hands of the jury. There you go. There you have it.